So if you look at me, you don't really think to yourself, this is a guy that likes to go off-roading. And guess what? You would be right. I'm very happy on the road and even on a racetrack. So in the interest of making things a bit different this week, the producers of this show thought I needed a challenge, an off-road challenge at that. But in order for me to complete my task, I would need the right tools. And I think I've got it right here in the all-new Land Rover Defender. Now we all know that the original Defender is an off-roading marvel, and I've had the pleasure of spending some time with that car. But I must say, my experience felt like the driving equivalent of me trying to operate an A-track. But with this car, the all-new Defender, everything has changed. This is now the most technologically advanced Land Rover you can get. So it's essentially built for people like myself. So today is really going to be a course on off-roading for dummies. Look out for my book. So challenge number one is this. I need to get up the steep hill. And this seems like a simple thing to do, but it really isn't when you're going off-road. Because the biggest problem you face is that when you're all the way up in the sky like that and all you can see is bonnet, there's really not much you can see, and it makes it quite difficult to navigate where you need to go. But thankfully in this vehicle I've got what Land Rover calls clear sight ground view, which is placed cameras in various parts of the car so I can see exactly where I'm going through the infotainment screen. So in order for me to do that, I need to activate certain modes. In this instance, I'm going to activate rock crawl mode, which will need me to be in low range. So let me do that first. So now that we're good to go, let's set off. In low range, all I need to do is apply a little bit of accelerator in order for me to get up the hill. But I must tell you that we do have somebody guiding us at the top, because I really don't want to owe Land Rover a new Defender. So, I really cannot see anything with my own eyes, but with this clear sight ground view, I can see exactly what's going on, and it really does make my life quite easy. Now that we're at the top of the hill, all I need to do is have a bit of faith and let go of the brake, because this car does have hill descent control. So all the car's going to do is gently guide its way down here whilst I steer. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's so weird not having my foot on the brake. I want to brake, but hey, the car's doing everything for me. This is literally off-roading for dummies. That challenge did look a bit scary, but it really wasn't. I don't know if it's because of the car, or maybe I was just overreacting. Let's go to the next challenge. So for my second challenge, I need to do a proper off-road course. And we've got exactly the facility we need to do that here. We're gonna have a bit of rocks, we're gonna have a bit of gravel, we're gonna have a bit of sand, and I hope we're gonna have a bit of fun. But before we set off, let's talk about a bit of technical specs. This is the D240S variant of the new Land Rover Defender, which means I've got a diesel engine, 2-litre powered, 177 kilowatts, and 430 Newton meters of torque. Now, all Land Rover Defenders come with permanent all-wheel drive, and as well, you've got air suspension, so it gives you a nice cushy ride. But this car does have a few tricks up its sleeve through the Offroad Package that's been fitted in this vehicle. So let's go for a drive. So what do you get in the Offroad Package? You do get the all-terrain response 2, which allows me to switch from different modes, such as the ones that we've been playing with. And at the same time, what is very nifty is that you get an electronic active differential. So for you off-road enthusiasts, you might be thinking to yourself, this car does not have a locking differential in the front or in the rear. But I can tell you, after speaking to some smart people at Land Rover, that they claim that this car actually doesn't need such a setup, and that a setup such as that is actually a bit old school. So for instance, right now in this rock bed, what happens is that the car has got quite a sophisticated traction control system. So each time it senses that I'm losing grip on one wheel, it automatically sends power to the other wheel. So there's no need to do the old school locking differential thing. As you can see, we are reaching some extreme angles in this car. But the crazy thing is, despite us literally going left and right and the body flexing like this, it's in no way uncomfortable for me. I mean, look at this. This is actually tons of fun. So one thing that needs to be mentioned is the comfort levels of this car. And like we said, in those extreme angles, it wasn't backbreaking for me, nor was it in any way uncomfortable, which tells me that if this car is so good on harsh terrain such as this, you can only imagine how good it will be on the road. And for most consumers, that's exactly what they want. You want a car that can look good in Sandton, but at the same time, you can also take it to Sabi.
And the same ethos has been carried over into the interior. You won't find squidgy plush materials, and to be quite honest, we would be a bit disappointed if we did. Everything is robust and hard-wearing, fit for a purpose with not a single detail spared. The center console up front can be replaced with a foldable jump seat for a 6-seater option. We counted 12 different ports to charge or plug in some form of device, even a 2-sprung socket in the boot. Don't get us wrong, it is still very much luxurious with an array of technologies and creature comforts that will rival the best. And it's that balance that truly makes the interior of this new Defender an absolute standout.
Now for my last challenge, they decided to give me something fun to do. Now, the new Land Rover Defender can weigh up to 900 millimeters, which is a lot. And this pool of water you'll see is not exactly 900 millimeters, but I'm still going to use the wading option, which does make it easier for me to get through terrain such as this. So let's give it a bash. One thing I've learned from my previous runs is that I wasn't carrying enough momentum. So now we're in the water, and now power, 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 power. And just like that, it makes me look like a pro. I can't tell you how much this car makes you look like an off-roading champion. Is my name Kingsley Holgate or what?